The girl's fingertips brush against a metallic pin, and she's suddenly transported to an alien landscape. The abrupt shift startles her into motion, drawing bewildered stares from others. Compelled by burning curiosity, she touches the pin again, this time fully materializing amidst golden waves of wheat. She rises in awe before an endless expanse of grain. A spire piercing the clouds glimmers under the distant sun. Drawn toward the tower, she clatters back to reality mid-step. A stranger reaches for the fallen pin as she dives to intercept. Terrified her secret might be exposed. In panic, she wraps it hastily in chewing gum foil from her pocket. En route home, Casey invites her father to touch the pin. But the artifact remains inert at his contact. Undeterred, Casey grasps it firmly, levitating this time above the wheat field. As she gapes in wonder, her father snatches it away, plunging her back to solid ground. Under midnight's cover, Casey retrieves the pin. Her fingers meet the cool metal once more, summoning the golden vista again. She races toward the spire, only to stumble and tumble down spectral stairs. Guided by curiosity, Casey cycles to a deserted field. With bated breath, she activates the pin. A trapeze artist soars overhead, leaving her awestruck. Levitating monorails glide through clouds as multicolored hovercars trace luminous arcs across the sky. Beyond, laughter echoes from anti-gravity pools where swimmers flip freely, while FTL rockets pierce the atmosphere with fiery contrails. Astronauts in uniform are boarding the spacecraft in formation. She follows them excitedly, but the ground suddenly turns liquid beneath her feet. Each step becomes a struggle. Suddenly, the badge flashes a red countdown warning. Astronauts wave urgently, "Hurry aboard, we saved you a spot." Just as she lunges toward the spacecraft, the vision dissolves into her familiar reality. Back home, Casey researches the badge's origin with her brother. They discover it's a 1964 World's Fair space commemorative pin. A private collector is offering top dollar for such artifacts. Next day, Casey visits the collector's gallery. Before she can speak, two attendants aggressively demand the badge's provenance. Sensing danger, Casey turns to leave. They draw futuristic weapons, aiming at her. Whoa! Suddenly, a crow plummets from the sky, distracting the assailants. Casey bolts but gets thrown down by an energy blast. She dives behind a bookshelf, bumping a mechanical toy by accident, revealing her hiding spot instantly. A metallic sphere crashes through the window. The cryosphere emits a wave, freezing time and space around them. An agile figure swings through the broken window. A ponytailed girl materializes. She urges, but Casey's hand is trapped in an energy field. Gripping Casey's wrist, she whispers, "When the field drops, jump with me." As time unfreezes, the girl yanks Casey free. The two clerks simultaneously release the space-time freeze restriction and raise their weapons, frantically firing. With a graceful flip, the girl precisely sees the female clerk's head. Casey was horrified to find mechanical components flashing inside the rolling head. It turned out these clerks were all androids. Just as they escaped to the street, a deafening explosion erupted from the collection hall. Without hesitation, the girl shattered the roadside car's window and forcibly started the engine. Shortly after they drove off, police arrived at the explosion scene, but another car followed close behind. A group of mysterious men in black emerged from the car. They claimed to be FBI agents, but when the men in black saw the police discovering the robot head, the men in black immediately bared their fangs. "What the hell is happening?" A shaken Casey gasped out the question. The girl in the driver's seat smiled faintly. "My name is Athena, a recruiter from the future world. That badge was specially left for you." But an even more horrifying discovery sent chills down her spine. The agile, mysterious girl before her was actually a cold, mechanical being. Fear instantly consumed her reason, and she slammed on the brakes. The car lost control and crashed into a barricade. Seizing the opportunity, Casey quickly opened the car door and fled. Seeing the girl flung by the impact, the driver paled in shock, trembling as he tried to help the injured girl. Casey glanced back at the open car door, her survival instinct driving her to bolt into the distance without hesitation. Yet, the next moment, the girl sat up completely unharmed. Then she stood up and sprinted after Casey. A terrified Casey saw in the rearview mirror the android chasing her at a terrifying speed of 8,000 kilometers per hour. Athena leaped onto the car and swiftly pulled out the ignition key. Terrified, Casey desperately wanted to get out of the car. Athena had to calm Casey down and began telling her a story. At the 1964 World Expo's Tech Pavilion, young Frank, nervously tinkering with the jetpack he designed. Although full of creativity, the invention wasn't perfected due to technical limitations. Ultimately, the judges politely rejected it. Just as he was feeling dejected, recruiter Athena noticed the gifted boy, and secretly gave him a special badge. Guided secretly by Athena, Frank climbed over the fence. Following the other chosen ones, he boarded a mysterious drifting ship. As the ship entered a specific zone, a scanner detected the badge on his chest. The deck beneath him suddenly opened, dropping him into a hidden chamber. Inside this strange space, a uniquely shaped teleportation pod sat quietly in the distance. Frank grabbed his backpack and entered the teleportation pod. curiously observing everything around him. Suddenly, the pod door slammed shut. A system voice prompted him to wear a helmet, but Frank was too short, preventing him from complying. With a violent jolt, the teleportation initiated abruptly. Before he could react, he found himself in a fog-shrouded alien world. He stood on a platform, with Athena waving from a ship above. Athena was beckoning to him. Before he could react, the ground beneath him trembled. Then, chaos erupted. Suddenly, a sleek mech emerged from the mist and expertly adjusted his jetpack. Just then, workers spotted the intruder. Panicked, Frank accidentally fell from the platform. A sudden wave of weightlessness overwhelmed him. At the last possible second, the repaired jetpack came tumbling down. Frank frantically waved his arms, and miraculously caught the life-saving device mid-fall. As the fog suddenly cleared, a futuristic city materialized before them. Yet Frank was still plummeting uncontrollably, until he secured the jetpack just in time. This marked his first true flight experience. The exhilaration of defying gravity consumed him. He spotted Athena nearby, calmly waving before executing a perfect landing. Approaching David and Athena, Frank's exceptional performance earned him approval, securing his place in the enigmatic city. Later, he co-developed the space-time monitoring tower with Executive David to monitor Earth's ecological status in real time. Over time, the tower warned of Earth approaching annihilation. David repeatedly sent distress signals worldwide, but humans ignored them, recklessly depleting resources, blind to escalating disaster warnings. Ultimately, David abandoned humanity, sealing the portal and terminating the recruitment initiative. Frank, disillusioned by David's choice, severed ties, only to be exiled back to Earth's devastation. Meanwhile, Athena developed human emotions, defecting to continue recruitment and save Earth. David flew into a rage and issued an execution order, triggering Casey and Athena's harrowing escape. As the final recruit, Casey listened to Athena's explanations with deep skepticism, or decided to go with her. Casey, having lowered her guard, quickly fell into a deep sleep. When Casey jolted awake, she found herself unceremoniously ejected from the vehicle by Athena. She noticed Frank's name labeled on a roadside fuel tank, and headed straight for the house. Just as she approached, a wolfhound suddenly lunged at her viciously. Casey realized with a start that there were no paw prints on the ground. She tentatively reached out. Her hand passed straight through the animal's form. It was merely a holographic projection. Casey approached the door and held up her badge to the surveillance camera, only to be repelled by an invisible energy field. An old man appeared at the doorway, sharply demanding to know where she'd gotten the badge. This was Frank from years past. In somber tones, he informed Casey that the new world was long gone, urging her to abandon her quest. But Casey refused to give up. Late that night, alarms blared through Frank's house. Casey had set a harvester ablaze and was driving it toward the structure. Frank grabbed a fire extinguisher and rushed outside. After dousing the flames, Frank realized he'd been tricked. Locked out by Casey, he watched her burst into his workshop, where she discovered Walker's covert monitoring of Earth's vital signs, and a doomsday countdown device on the table. Emerging through a hidden passage, Frank tried to force Casey out, insisting all was beyond redemption. Casey fired back. Does foreseeing the end mean we stop fighting? To their astonishment, Earth's destruction probability fluctuated on the monitor. Frank realized Casey was no ordinary girl. Just then, alarms signaled approaching bionic hunters. He activated the defense systems in haste. Prepare for the impending crisis as the defense system activates. Bulletproof steel plates instantly descend over all windows. Yet one door reacts too late, forcibly pried open by a robotic arm. With lightning reflexes, Frank grabs a stunner and paralyzes the intruder, following up with a flying kick that sends it crashing through the window. Before they catch their breath, another robot smashes through the wall, only to be launched northwest by Frank's hidden mechanism. As the third mechanical killer closes in, Frank activates a portable teleporter, attempting to shove it inside. But the super-strong robot lifts him high until Casey intervenes at the last second. Casey slams the teleporter onto the robot, freeing Frank. They retreat upstairs with pursuers hot on their heels. Frank triggers a hidden switch, filling the corridor with laser grids, slicing the pursuers to pieces. They leap into the bathtub-shaped escape pod, but pursuers follow, shattering the pod with a single punch. As the pod activates, the final robot lunges to block it, only to be blasted away by the powerful thrust, crashing into a nearby pond with a colossal splash. Athena, waiting in ambush, immediately extracts them. The trio speeds toward a suburban relay station, housing a metal sphere entwined with blue energy conduits. After donning specialized gear, a body-numbing shock teleports them away. When they reopen the door, they find themselves atop the Eiffel Tower. Casey gasps in awe. They neutralize the guards and enter a hidden chamber at the summit. Inside, 3 humanoid statues stand displayed, where Frank reveals a staggering secret. From the early 20th century, Eiffel, Edison, Tesla, and Jules Verne formed a secret society to build an ideal tomorrow world through technology. They believed human creativity could transcend reality's constraints. The tower, as the world's navel, became the core energy convergence node, linking our reality to the utopian tomorrow world. Frank activated the antique gramophone before him. The entire tower shuddered violently. Rusted metal panels peeled away, revealing intricate machinery within. Amid grinding gears, the structure split vertically. At midnight, the Eiffel Tower roared mechanically. Its steel frame cracked open, exposing a colossal rocket. The century-old landmark transformed into a launch pad, stunning onlookers, who scrambled to record. As ignition sequences activated, David's hunter-killer drones arrived, scaling the structure rapidly. Athena spotted the threat, rushing toward the rocket. Athena sealed the hatch as they secured harnesses and initiated launch protocols. The drones reached the rocket, latching onto its hull, attempting to abort liftoff. Blue flames erupted as crushing acceleration dislodged clinging drones. Thrusters flared with blinding plasma light, illuminating Parisian skies. An electromagnetic pulse fried all electronics citywide. After atmospheric breach, the first stage detached. The craft reoriented, hurtling toward lunar orbit. Their true destination lay elsewhere. Instead, it's to harness the gravitational slingshot effect for sufficient acceleration. As the rocket pivots into its dive, its violent velocity warps the surrounding space with ripples. Amidst quantum pulse vibrations, they successfully leap to another dimensional plane of Earth. Casey bursts from the hatch, only to be stunned by the desolate sight. The once thriving new world now lies in utter ruin. Not a soul in sight. Nothing like the gleaming metropolis she'd glimpsed through the badge. David and his mechanized guard swoop toward them through the distant sky. Frank urgently retrieves a high-yield explosive, pressing it into Athena's hands. Keep this secure, for whatever comes next. After brief reunions, Frank gestures to Casey. She can rewrite the doomsday prophecy. I've seen her words lower destruction probabilities myself. Skeptical yet intrigued, David leads them toward the Chronovision Spire. Behold, the Chronovision Spire. Bronze crystal composite forms its skeleton, skin etched with intricate gearwork interlaced with spiraling energy conduits. Towering 150 meters, its crown holds a floating 12-meter hyperphotonic polymer sphere. Midway, rotating prism arrays pulse within its frame. The spire harnesses hyperphotons to observe spacetime. Particles that transmit data while piercing temporal dimensions, their oscillations resonating with humanity's collective consciousness. As hyperphotons pass through its quantum lens array, they fracture into probability waves across infinite parallel universes, projected as future possibility matrices on quicksilver displays. Yet at the summit, all that greets them is annihilation, or a nuclear war triggered by mankind, or frequent natural disasters, volcanic eruptions, glaciers melting from global warming. These catastrophes keep occurring. Casey confronted David, demanding why he refused to help. While watching Earth march toward destruction, David coldly replied that this wasn't his world, and he had no stake in it. Furious at his words, Casey turned and stormed away. Just then, the monitoring tower's screen suddenly displayed images of Earth reviving. Spotting this, Frank rushed forward, arguing they still had hope. But suddenly, David ambushed him, knocking him unconscious. When Frank awoke, he found himself imprisoned by David. After heated arguments, Casey had a sudden revelation, recalling the earlier vision, and how easily Frank's receiver caught the tower's signals. She realized the monitoring tower itself was the problem. Its constant broadcast of doom to Earth was actually driving Earth toward destruction. Confronting David, they revealed Casey's discovery, but David remained convinced of Earth's inevitable doom. He declared, then moved to deport them back to Earth. During the farewell handshake, Frank covertly pressed David's wrist control, lowering the monitoring tower's console. Athena vaulted into action, battling the androids fiercely. After neutralizing them, she produced a high-explosive bomb, intending to destroy the tower, but nearby robots detected the threat and snatched her up. She hurled the bomb to Casey, who urgently leapt onto the console. Now atop the controls, Casey had no idea how to activate the explosive. The clever Casey navigated the tower's spacetime phantom and discovered the activation sequence for the bomb. Suddenly the control console plunged downward, but Athena's quick command made the robot catch her safely. Meanwhile, Frank and David tumbled out of the portal during their struggle. Athena hurled a robot through the portal before sealing it, bisecting the machine instantly. Casey then located the armed bomb. As Athena reopened the portal for Casey to hurl it through, Frank and David scrambled back towards safety, just as the portal vanished at the critical moment, containing the blast damage. While David was pinned by a collapsing column, Athena's systems flashed a premonition of Frank being shot, revealing David aiming his weapon at Frank. She lunged forward, taking the fatal blast meant for him. Cradling Athena, Frank desperately tried repairs, but she whispered her systems were beyond restoration, as her model was now obsolete. With fading energy, Athena confessed her long-hidden feelings, revealing how during Frank's childhood, she concealed her robotic nature, to become the trusting companion he needed, to unlock his genius potential. Over time, genuine affection grew within her, remaining unspoken until Frank's exile awakened her emotions fully. Through you, I learned humanity's delicate emotions. Warning alarms signaled her imminent system's failure. She requested Frank carry her to the monitor tower's peak, to convert her body into the final bomb. After one last smile to Frank, Athena closed her eyes forever. Frank, with tears in his eyes, reluctantly laid her to rest. As Athena's self-destruct initiated, the temporal monitoring tower collapsed, crushing David beneath its falling structure. In the aftermath, Frank and Casey created more recruiters like Athena, bearing badges to the new world, continuing to Earth to seek gifted dreamers. Soon across the globe, visionaries from all walks of life received recruitment badges simultaneously. As they touched their badges, they arrived in the golden fields where dreams begin.